Well, you never know. You're the only one that knows. Everybody else is just like, well, dude, I don't know, but I may or may not be offended. I just can't tell. So
I can't tell. I can't tell because I don't know who said it.
and if I could
He
see
said it, it's okay. But if you said it, I don't know, man.
is that like the hard R?
Yes.
That's exactly like the hard R, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. All right.
There will be no hard R's in this podcast.
I mean, I might say the word rocket.
Race car?
Race car.
No.
Yeah. We'll dance around this topic all day. Probably won't be able to use that intro. It's okay. It's all right, everybody.
That's PG-13.
I marked this thing explicit for a reason. There we go. I totally forget about that because I haven't done it in a while. All my guests have been squeaky clean, and it's been kind of cool.
This is like 2 Live Crew over here, and you got to watch it. We're getting banned.
Man.
No performances in Knoxville.
Man.
Parental advisory.
Call Tipper Goer. Tell her I'm coming. I got a message, and it's written on a piece of notebook paper folded up in my back pocket about 400 times. My name is D. Snyder.
Is that origami?
Yes.
Okay.
But for legal proceedings.
How do you fold up a piece of legal paper? That is long paper.
It's like a CVS receipt, actually. All right, dude. We're here to talk about not anything we just said right now. We're here to talk about artsy things because you and I have a show coming up with a bunch of other talented artists. So I feel like we should talk about it a little bit. And mind you, dear listener, that none of this art has ever been seen in public before. Period. No. I don't even think it's been posted on the internet. Maybe, but once. Maybe.
No, I've pretty much taken my Instagram down.
So
it wasn't serving me, so I kicked him to the curb.
I'm sure Zuck will have a hard time. But I guess we'll do this one first. I'll go ahead and introduce everybody. I guess I can say that right now. Jen Lizzie, Professor Rainbow, Chance Loescher, Steffi J, Derek Rucker, Thomas Zachary, and Ethan Fox. That's the 6-person lineup for this all brand new art show that's going to be happening at Next Level Brewery on August 5th, and it'd be really, really cool if y'all showed up around 8 p.m.
Bam. All-star weekend.
There will be lights. There will be some kind of funky music that I make no promises of. There will be psychedelic and wonderful things to be seen, and it'll be a place to be, so please come out. But, Ruck.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about the pieces you're bringing because we're still not going to show everybody. They got to come to the show and look at them for real.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But we can talk about them. Let's talk about the names and the materials and just the overall feel of each piece, if we can do that.
Okay. Yeah. Feel like we could probably start out with old In Vivo, as you can see him on the wall over here, but you all can't see him.
Super secret.
I don't know. As you can tell, there's kind of a religious ploy to it, as everybody is kind of looking and in awe at what is happening above them. But I can't tell you anything about the color choices, man. It was going for a depth that didn't really come out, but at the same time did.
Well, at the very least, you can say it's high contrast.
There you go. Yeah. Yep. You've got UV reactive all over that thing, especially the pyramid. So if you all do get a chance to see this one, you're going to see something protruding out of the painting, unlike you've probably ever seen before. It was just as hard to do as it looks like it was hard to do. So
you cussed about it for like a solid 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah. I over and over again. At least it was the same word, just over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
there's a mantra. That's what those are called.
I was just swinging a bell.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you got a lot of UV going on in this one.
A lot of texture.
A lot of texture. Not all of it is visible from a distance, but when you get up on it, it's very evident. Yeah, in vivo.
When did you create this thing?
Say I finished it sometime last year, 2021. But nobody has seen this thing, so.
I mean, I've been to your house a few times,
Well, yeah, you know,
allegedly.
but
I suppose I've seen it.
your eyes have at least passed by it.
I've looked
so,
over it
yeah,
at least a few times.
at least once or 3 times.
So what's next?
So next would probably be those 2 guys, and I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm kind of a dummy. I put all the names on the back of it, but I kind of forgot what the name of that one is, right?
Well, mystery piece number 1, y'all are gonna have to come see it.
Yep. So you got dueling faces there. One of them to me seems very angry and very aggressive, and the other one seems very defensive, as in, why are you doing this to me? I don't think there's any real rhyme or reason as to why those faces ended up being in those contexts, but the whole background on it has a lacy UV reactive touch to it. Nothing in the foreground actually glows. So you get this weird ghosty effect of what the hell is on my wall? Oh, it's that painting. Okay, yeah, I got you. Then it's got a nice little crackle border.
That's
too,
that 3-in-1 art shenanigan right there.
Oh, absolutely.
Turn the lights off. That's painting 2. Put a UV light on it. It's painting 3. Ha! What's behind painting number 3?
Yeah, and then you
wall.
Then you wonder, like, oh man, how did I get it for so cheap? You know, exactly. You got 3 paintings for 1. So remember that when you're buying these paintings. No, you're going to.
As he looks around the room.
Moving on from those guys, the next ones would be the masks over here. And
Over there.
over there. One of them actually left us. He was purchased. The person was very fearless about it, and we both know this person.
Yeah.
Good dude, old Shay. Happened to
Yeah,
swipe
that's
that
right.
one
That's
from me.
right. He did.
swiped that one from me. He
I'm gonna put him on the spot.
locked on it, and I was like,
I'm gonna put him on the spot and tell him he better show up.
You better show up. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it to him, but I'll mention it to him again. I'm sure I'll see him. But all 3 of them have some kind of UV aspect. You're going to find this as a theme. One of them is oil paint. And then the other 2 are just acrylics. But with the oil paint, I didn't go very detailed. He's more of a tiki mask, more of a...
Bold shapes.
Yeah.
Bold shapes.
Bold shapes.
Complementary colors.
Yes, very much so. He's just the witch doctor, of course. Official name. TM. Then you have Pixie. She's a nice, for lack of a better term, pink Gundam looking mask. She's very battle ready. But very beautiful. And then you have Morty up here. He's kind of named after the theme of the 4 masks for the primordials, the ancients before the Egyptian gods. And I'll be danged if he doesn't look demonic. But
Yo, I love his
I don't think
hat.
that's bad.
I love his hat. It's rad. It's a really nice hat.
It is a nice hat. It really, I would wear it. I mean,
Well, it's got 2 sets of horns, so that's a plus.
oh yeah, it definitely sets you out as a villain. Like if you're in the Marvel universe, it's
Yeah, that's
you're
definitely
the
that's a bad guy hat.
Yeah.
100% a bad guy hat.
Oh.
What about that one you got hanging behind the curtain over there?
Yeah. He actually has been seen now that I think about it.
You had it at the Central Filling Station
I
markets,
did.
right?
Yep. That one is a little bit of a I don't want to say premonition because I'm not a precog or something.
Is it visionary art?
It is. I was looking way into the future. I was being a soothsayer. But this was me sitting in the middle of not knowing anything about COVID and thinking ahead, wow, this is probably what's going to happen in COVID. So, as you can imagine, there's just a vast landscape of tombstones. One solitary rose, but it has two legs. And, yeah, you can't tell if it's mourning or it's wanting to run away or, you know, it might be enjoying itself. I'm not sure, but
It's super sketch.
not. You're not going to talk to that one. No. Mm-mm. He's going to walk away from you. If that makes sense. I want to say that all of that one is acrylic, and then I actually used a palette knife to basically engrave the names into the gravestones and then scratch them out so that it looks all rugged and you never know what any of the names are. Of course, just like
I bet one of them's John J. Johnson.
at least one of them.
At least.
Might be two of them.
Probably. There are probably 2 John J. Johnsons in this painting, at the very least.
At least. But yeah, I mean, just like the majority of people who've died from COVID, you don't know who any of these people are on these tombstones either. So
I'm glad we're both putting art into the show that's reflective of society, at least a little bit.
yes, I mean, I feel like all three of the two first ones that I detailed, and then this last one definitely are very, very critical of society, and the first one definitely religion. So let's
go ahead and put it out there.
Yeah.
Rebellion is some theme.
Mm-hmm.
Haha.
Yeah, I would say that most of the art that's going to be there is pretty rebellious when it comes to how we do things. How things are normally done. Let's say that. It seems like everybody does their own unique kind of approach to what's going on.
Yeah, because the way you call bullshit with a paintbrush is way different than the way I call bullshit with a paintbrush.
Absolutely. Oh man, got a little George Carlin in there or something, you know.
Shoo. He came back into my mind the other day because all the abortion debate foolishness.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
I agree with what he said. That comedian George Carlin, he made points.
And I stand right there on it.
He made points.
Nobody has dulled them yet, so you know.
George Carlin's points are made out of carbon steel. Incredibly hard to dull.
Oh man, it's multifolded steel. It's layers, a lot of layers.
Like an onion. Have you? So you got the big owl-looking piece you got leaned up against the chair.
Yes,
Is
sir.
is that the final piece?
Like
The
design?
No, I mean, is that the last one that you plan to put in the show?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Oh yeah,
So you're on the spot now. That's the last one. It's official.
that works. Do you want details about that one?
I mean, yeah. Let's go for it.
Okay. Well, funnily enough, I'll go ahead and tell you what it's made off of. It is a panel that used to have Bob Marley on it, and
Why'd you do Bob like that?
man, you know, it's very generic. It was just a stock photo of him with some random lyric at the bottom that somebody.
You did
bought.
Bob so dirty.
Hey, I think he'd be proud.
I mean, he might be.
His face is everywhere on all the weed products everywhere. Yeah, he'll be fine with it. Yeah, you got a mask showing some sort of what looks like paradise, but it's in its mouth. No eyeballs, nothing. There's just
Empty eye sockets?
Just sockets. And then you kind of get a peer into the center of its head, and there's nothing in there either. It's literally just veins. But then you start looking around the mask and you see there's eyeballs behind it. What the hell? What's going on here? And then you look even further behind and you're like, is that Knoxville skyline? Is that the sun sphere? Yeah, it is. It is. It's poking out of the clouds back there. Yeah. You get closer to the foreground. You've got some trees. You got, almost a light behind the forest poking through, giving you that brightness. And I'll keep the people in it a little secret. That'll be
The people?
The people. You walk in, you'll see it, and then you'll go, oh my God, there's even more people. So, yeah, there's the one person that I feel like I'm going to detail is there's a little girl, and she's bravely walking into the paradise, uncaring of the people behind her and anything they would have to say. So, there is no name on this one as yet.
She said, "Fuck them."
Pretty much.
We're gonna earn the explicit E today.
Quit being pussies. That's what she said. So, come on, it ain't that bad.
At least it's cute.
But I mean, it is a visual representation of the state of people's minds right now. I don't feel like a lot of minds are very malleable, and they're not at all. Not even self-malleable. You couldn't even convince yourself to change your mind right now. And the lone girl is literally showing everybody up. Like, she's not had to go through, I guess, the what has caused everybody else to start fear-mongering. So she's willing to step forward and change things. Unlike most minds these days.
So she just walks, victoriously into the distance, which is the paradise.
Into that cold night. I was going to try and quote something, but I couldn't remember it. So, we're marching into that dark night or something. Somebody said it, I swear. And it sounded great, but copy, paste.
Yes. Yes. So, are there any, broadly spanning general themes to these pieces other than political commentary? Like ideological themes, not like visual themes.
I mean, there's definitely, the first one that I detailed with the pyramid is definitely a jab at religion, but also like an homage to religion. Like, it's very impressive what a religion has done to people, but at the same time, it's very unimpressive what religion has done to people. So, in that sense, I guess it's calling out both sides of that subject, I guess.
Exploring the duality.
Yes. Trying to at least see the good in all the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad things that they've done. And when I say they, I'm talking religion in a general sense, not pointing any one.
It's the Pope. It's always the Pope.
Westboro Baptist. Wait, is there a difference?
I mean, I don't see Westboro Baptist Church people with armored cars.
Very true. I
Well,
don't think they were gold either.
At least a one armored car.
The Pope Mobile.
Yo. That's the ride right there. You have the best view of everything. And you're in bulletproof glass.
Bulletproof,
no worries.
Yeah. I don't really know that there's an underlying thing. All of them do not tie together at all. They're all separate ideas, all with their own agenda, if you want to call it that. What they're trying to convey to you, all while being beautiful, which is why you all should show up.
Mm.
Not just for me, for everybody else too. Don't think I'm.
I mean, y'all can show up just for him. It's fine. You can. I'm. Trust me. I'm not gonna stop anybody.
Okay, you can show up just for me, but you're gonna look at everybody else's stuff too. I guarantee you. So, bam.
They're gonna walk around, only looking at your stuff, with their hands over their eyes when they look around the rest of the room.
Standing in front of somebody else's painting, looking back at mine, like, oh, that looks great from back here. Oh, I love it.
We all know how often that happens.
Oh man.
Well, I guess since you and I are familiar with each other's body of work, at least at this point right now, we can go ahead and talk about mine.
Yes, sir.
And then I'll try to avoid that with the other guests. I actually sit down across the microphone. All right. So where do I start?
The beginning.
Well, when somebody that can do a thing and somebody that can do the other complementary thing love each other a whole lot, art happens.
Yes.
That's the beginning.
Don't get too graphic about that.
Well, I mean, I swear, only the necessary details. So I painted a list of crises, and it wasn't just a national list, it was an international list, but a lot of these crises are felt across the world in different societies, and as a citizen of Western society, I have sort of the moral obligation as a creative person to reflect the mirror back at society every now and again when I'm not staring deeply and lovingly into my eyes and my non-existent soul with said mirror. But, you know, I really just chose also a lot of political dissonance and social commentary in this body of work, which is generally unusual for my outputs of creative talent. So the first one was these crises, and I put an emoji in the center with some text around it to sort of explain the viewer, you, me, whoever may be actually looking at the painting or thinking about what it's like to be a citizen in this society. That's your touchstone. That's the part that grounds you as the viewer in this surreal idea of an image. So I used the theme of this emoji through most of the pieces, not all of them, but it's an uneasy face. You know, there's it's like you don't know if you're sick and about to puke or not, but you know, like somebody said something and you don't know who said it, or
There's definite discomfort,
or you know, there's just something about the scenario that's making you go, you know.
Yep.
So it's that face. I know we've all seen it. It's on your keyboard right now. Don't look at me like I'm crazy.
It's those hieroglyphics, man.
Yeah. You know, the little tiny pictures of the yellow faces, those. So that one's just a general expression of frustration with society at large. The next one is the weight of all things I can't afford, or the weight of things I can't afford to change, which is a tall, skinny painting with lots of blues and ocean feels and a list of topics or resolutions or statements of conflict and friction that are all densely packed to sort of visualize the feeling of drowning or being under incredible amounts of pressure from every angle. And then you as the viewer are that little smiley face again at the very bottom, very tiny. And there's just this mass amount of other things that you just don't feel as if you have the time, resources, energy, whatever it may be, to affect change on any one or all of these topics, which is sort of, I guess, an expression of helplessness in some form or fashion. I've had both of these images in my head since, I don't know, February, and it took me a couple months to get this art show idea panned out. So I knew they were going to get shown all together at some point, just didn't really know when until recently. So they were all going to be a series of art. It's just when was I going to show them?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The third one with the emoji face is probably the one that's most stylistically in my wheelhouse with my sort of psychedelic pinstripey brushstroke stuff that I'm known to do, with sort of transparent text over it saying it's okay not knowing what to think. and the transparent text glows in the dark, so you really only see that when it's at night or dark.
Subliminal messages, I like that.
Subliminal,
I
yes,
like it.
and they're even on the surface. But it's written on the. It's a very skinny, long rectangle of a piece, written across the length of it in a really unorthodox but very legible bit of text. Some of the letters are stacked and turned backwards and things. It's not normal and wouldn't be generally considered easy to read, which is the point.
Yeah, you're going to look at this for a minute.
But
okay.
the two different styles of pinstrappy stuff that come out each side of the emoji face. One is cool colors and flowy and nice and very fluid. The one that comes out of the opposite side is red and yellow and warm colors and more jagged and it it's meaner or more violent or more threatening. The opposite end of the spectrum.
Yes.
I like this piece a lot. It turned out really well, in my opinion, for how I chose to execute it. There's a piece that I did right after Russia invaded Ukraine, but it's commentary on the idea of fish love, which is a concept of if you enjoy and love and appreciate things, you don't destroy them in some form or fashion.
Mm-hmm.
So I drew a hand holding a rose that had been plucked and damaged and broken in the process, and it's flopped over and on the black background with gloss black pen paint marker I wrote control spiraling out from the fist and the broken rose. So that's a commentary on, I think, general behavior of society.
Absolutely.
So that one doesn't fit the theme with the faces, but I think talking on the topics are still under the umbrella. So that one's gonna fit for me.
I like that we both have a painting with a rose-esque.
Well, hell, you can't. It's hard to get away from the strength of that image.
Mm-hmm.
So it lends itself to being very malleable as an idea when the image is so strong.
Yes, it's a very strong symbol.
I made to mix a lot of brown into this red, so my rose looks like dick. It looks bad. Like you shouldn't have picked it in the first place. This shit was ugly.
Oh,
so
man, mine just looks sad. It still looks good.
No, mine looks pitiful as hell. Like real bad, pitiful. So you know what? You shouldn't have picked it. That's gross.
Mm-hmm.
If you love it, you're really supposed to just leave it alone and admire it.
Grow.
That's the whole thing.
Yup.
Stay in your lane.
No swerving. No swerving.
But I feel really strongly about this, and the context of this particular image, for a lot of different reasons. Over militarization of police, government intrusion into people's lives. There's a lot of different places and avenues in society where you can see this example, and this is my way of highlighting it. There's another one that I had the story to me is better than the painting of how I acquired this thing.
Cough it up.
So I was in Maryville for a dentist appointment, and I decided to go to the Goodwill that's like 3 blocks away from where I go to the dentist. So, I was out there at like 9:45 because I woke up too early and didn't care to start my day too early. And all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, well, I'm an hour early for my dentist appointment. It's not till 11. So I'm just going to dick around and go over here and like see what's up in the Goodwill since I've never been in this Goodwill. Great idea, by the way. So stop into the Maryville Goodwill in that strip mall thing right as you come into town. Solid selection of stuff in the back room. You gotta go to the back room. The front's really tiny.
Yeah.
But I was looking around, and this lady asked me if I knew what was on some of these shirts. She was holding up these shirts. She's like, do these shirts look like something Sheldon would wear? I couldn't stop from telling the story. I know you were drinking water. My bad, dude.
No, that's good. You got me.
I was just telling people the other day how you do this to me all the time. So you know what? Good.
You got me. That was good.
I almost had a spit take. So she, I was like, yeah, sure, blah, blah, blah. Maybe not that one, but those two for sure. And she's like, all right, thank you. So I go about looking around the room, and I find the tripod I brought over here. Like, yeah, cool.
Very nice.
And then I'm looking at the art and all the BS, like frames and, mass-produced bullshit people are supposed to hang in their houses leaned up on the wall over there. And I found this one that had like one of those infinity frames where the frame is like a half inch away from the edge of the painting. Yeah. I like those a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the painting that was on it was some mass-produced bullshit aforementioned, and it was a beach scene. It was a really abstract oil painting, or at least originally was an oil painting. It was a print with a bunch of what is it they put on it to give it texture? Glaze.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of glaze.
Gotcha.
So I was like, yeah, it's $14. Sure. It's like a 36 by 24 or 36 by 18, something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember off the top of my head. It's big. It hangs well. It's got a cool frame. So I was like, hell yeah, I'm taking this shit home.
Mm-hmm.
I pick it up. I start walking out the room with it to go up to the register. And this lady stopped me, the lady that was asking me about the shirts. She said, oh my, that's a gorgeous painting. What are you going to do with that? At this point, I was fighting the urge to be really sarcastic because I'm in Maryville. Ain't nobody know my ass in Maryville except the people I want to know in Maryville. And I did not know this lady. I did not know this lady at all. And I was like, well, I'm going to paint over it. I promise. And she like put her hand on her chest and like stepped back a little bit and was just genuinely shocked that I would paint over such a wonderful beach scene.
Goodness.
I mean, I get it. It was a really nice beach scene. It was crashing waves, still beach, sort of some gray clouds, but no rain.
But there's probably like 30,000 other.
All right, dude, I could have found maybe 2 more similar images in that one store I was already in. So it wasn't anything special except for what I was going to do to it. Sat around the house for a couple weeks. Oh, let me not skip the most awkward part of this story. So she saw the painting, right, and she was inspired, and then she was offended that I said I was going to paint over it, and she said, may I recite you a poem? I looked around the room and I said, fuck it, why not?
No rules.
Right. Yeah, we in the streets.
Street poetry.
Oh, God. There wasn't even any slam to it. Like there was no slam about it. The slam was when the boredom hit me in the face. She stood there and recited. She said she had written it like 15 years ago for some reason, and she stood there, awkwardly close to me, in the doorway of a little entry hallway thing of this room. It's a bad place to stand. Ingress and egress was screwed. Here I am with this big ass painting. She's trying to talk to me. Yes.
Fire hazard.
Fire marshal would have lit us up. He would have said, that's a tripping hazard. Tape that shit down.
Y'all need to move.
But she stood there. There had to be 40 or 50 lines in this poem. Like she was telling me this poem for a good 3 minutes.
When does it change? When does it change from a poem to a story? Like, is there a line?
It could have been. Well, if I cared to analyze any further than my glazed over eyes would allow, there might have been a story. Oh. But the theme of this terribly long poem that was recited to me verbatim in person, unsolicited, well, solicited, but kind of very shortly noticed solicitation. She said, "That's a poem about a seashell I found on the beach. It's a poem about love and loss and how to heal." I said, "Thank you," turned and walked away. She was done. That was my out.
Yep. I don't blame you. Sometimes you got to skedaddle.
I went up to the register, paid my $14 for that, and then the couple other dollars for the tripod, and I walked right out of there and went to my fucking dentist appointment. Told my dental hygienist, Jay Stanton, out in Maryville, go see her.
Boom.
What had just happened, and she had a hearty laugh about it. It was the most awkward moment of that day, and then, mind you, immediately after that, I went to the dentist. So it was
so much action in
it was a day.
Telling you.
But the piece stayed around the house for a couple weeks, month or two, something like that. You know how it goes. And one day you're just like, I'm going to work on that turd over in the corner.
Yep.
So
that conviction, like,
yeah,
okay,
it's like you wake
I'll
up one
start.
day and you're just like, I'm going to clean the kitchen. It's like I do that with paintings.
Yep.
So I took it outside, laid the aerosols to it, wrote a message in it, and just did some funky stuff that I've never done before on this scale. Like I used stencils and aerosols and some brush pens and cannabis ashes and glow pigments. I know. It's First Amendment. I can do this. And just made a series of like overlapping squares that shift and turn on themselves. And in the dark, you can see a degradation of these shapes in a more simplified form with the glowy stuff. So it's neat. I like it quite a bit. Now I'm trying to think if there's any other pieces. I feel like there is, maybe. There's one that I'm going to put in the show that's currently hanging at Central Flats and Taps.
You definitely have multiple more podcasts where you could demo more of your things if you wanted to.
Well, I mean, if I forgot one, if I remember, Jen, Chance, y'all watch out for that. Trying to think, is there any other?
So, just going back to the lady with the poem. Like,
go.
I will give her props because at least it's a poem she wrote, because I thought she was about to just bust out like some Robert Frost on you.
No, dude, I'd have walked away. I swear to God, I'd have walked away.
There are two paths, and like, all right, yep, I gotta leave.
I ain't got time for this shit.
No.
Thank you, but no. Have a good day. No, and see, I was sold on the delivery too, because she was really solemn and sweet and really calmly spoken, had a really good sense of timing about it. Like everything was delivered really well, and I was just like, fuck, why? Like, I'm in the middle of this. I'm not enjoying it, but I can't. Like, it's too early to walk away.
Yeah.
That was legit the most awkward interaction with anybody I had that whole week. Luckily, it was on a Friday, so the week was almost over.
Even when you were sitting there with another person's hands in your mouth?
Both hands from. I got both hands. And the
more awkward?
And the assistant at times.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, I mean, I got a big old mouth, eh?
The more the merrier.
At times, they were like 7, maybe 8 fingers in my mouth. All gloved. Don't worry, I was safe. But dentist. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I can't think of any of the other ones. I'm sure I've forgotten one. I'm sure I have. Pretty sure I have.
With thinking about
let me
the few that I've seen of yours, because I don't think I've seen the last 2 of them you're talking about.
You ain't.
I made the joke earlier about hieroglyphics, but I really do like that even though a person maybe couldn't read the words on the ones that you've got, they would definitely look at that hieroglyphic, that emoji, and relate to it.
Well, yeah, that's the one touchstone of reality that is in those pieces. Mm-hmm. That's everything else is what makes it surreal. That's the one dose of reality you get in this otherwise absolutely ridiculous image, and that's just it. That's all you get. That is the only touchstone of reality you have in this series of images. So that's
very interesting.
That is a very limiting and very socially acceptable and wide-reaching image.
Absolutely.
And then all of a sudden, it's in the middle of this context that you either can understand or you can't, and either way, it's a weird panic.
Right.
Or so I think.
I feel like, in some ways, more people could relate to that. I won't say version that.
Well, everybody knows what an emoji looks like. Like, everybody's familiar. It's a really good basis for launching a surreal idea or something. Yeah. It's a good place to start if you're trying to introduce contrast because people are really used to it. So if you can take that and then put it in a context or wrap it in an idea where that's the thing that's out of place, then you know you've got you're visualizing some good friction somehow.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like the one painting when it comes to surreal that everybody is seeing is Dolly's The Melting Clocks.
Yeah.
And
everybody knows what a clock looks like, but nobody's seen one do that before.
Exactly. And everybody gets the concept of what happens if a clock melts like that. You know what I mean? Like, what's going on? Like,
the walls are also breathing if you see a clock do that.
Yes, it is.
100.
Just make sure you're breathing, too.
Sometimes you have to go into manual breathing. But that's okay.
Manuel breathing.
I don't let that guy breathe for me.
In, out.
Oh my god. So yeah, I think that's all the pieces. I'll also have some other ones there that I've painted that aren't in this series that are just straight up trippy stuff because I make what I like to believe are pretty things for people to look at. So the thing I painted at the Caverns and the thing I painted most recently will both be there. The Caverns was on social media, so that y'all know what that one looks like if you've been looking. The name of the shindig is the PsychShow. It's going to be August 5th.
Psych.
Yes. at around or right on 8 o'clock. It's a bar and it's a First Friday event, so you can really show up wherever.
You should probably show up early.
But you should probably show up after dark because...
But at least early.
I mean, yeah, but after dark. Like maybe 7:52.
Yeah, let it get a little.
But for real,
I'm gonna
have some funky music on the old speakers in the room, and I'm gonna have low lights and lighting production on all the art. So it's gonna be a First Friday show like I've never seen anybody do before. As simply and impactful as I'm trying to make this event. That's what I'm going for. I want everybody to have super bright, colorful art displayed under proper lighting to make full use of its visual stimulation.
Very nice, very nice. I will say I feel like there may be one more that I've got. If I can fix
one more.
There.
You devil! You just sneaking this right in on us.
Well. I don't know why nature felt the need to when I had my last show at the flats to really gust at one moment and rip this one off of the giant the big display that I had set up. And he is damaged a little bit at the bottom, so I'm trying to figure out how I can fix that with it already being varnished.
As is, no warranty.
Yes. Yeah.
That's how you fix that. As is, no warranty.
Yep. Nah, that
no discounts.
It's supposed to be like
it's the display, but no discounts. It's the display model of this painting. I've got the real one in a basement under plastic. Thank you very much.
That's right. But that one's very, very detailed when it comes to the UV, which is why I would like to add it in. There's a lot going on, but it's called the Dweller. And if you know anything about occult or the esoteric or anything, you know what the Dweller means and where he's hanging out at. So it's not so much of a commentary on anything outward, I don't believe, although we all face the Dweller, so it is a relatable subject to most to everybody. Yeah. I mean, he's necessary, but at the same time, it's a lot of people don't get past him. So most people don't get past the Dweller. So guard your thresholds, dog.
My thresholds.
What threshold?
I said guard them. Your threshold.
Yeah.
I was running around out and about in society a couple weeks ago, and I saw one of your paintings at a friend's house.
Did you?
Yeah, down on the river.
River?
Yeah, on the river.
In the van?
I mean, there was a van, but not in the van. No, at Greasy Rock Camp Out when I was down at Wes's house for them shindigs. I forgot where the river cracking.
Oh yeah, the Clinch River cracking.
Yeah, that one was down there, and I turned the corner in the house when I first got there, and I was like, oh,
yep,
that guy.
proud of that one.
Yeah, that's some good shit. Just toot your horn a little bit right there. I'm gonna tell you, I really like that one.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I do. I definitely.
Wes told me.
Glad to know that he's still displaying it.
Oh yeah, dude, it's in the living room.
I feel really bad. I haven't talked to the man in a minute, but I know the love is still there, and it would be the same if I just walked up on that porch, gave the man a hug. Everything would be the same, and you know what I mean?
He asked me if I was able to paint anything at Greasy Rock, and I told him no because it was raining the whole time. And I know he knew that because he lives on that property.
Yeah, he was right there the whole time. I'm like,
Yeah, so I was like, no, it was raining. He just looked at me right in my face and laughed. But he's I need something of yours for the house. Let me know when you got something you think I'd like. And I was like, yeah, I got you. No worries. But yeah, I was like, Wes, I couldn't paint. I got my easel set up and I put one base coat on, and I swear to you, I had 15 minutes before I felt the first sprinkle. And then 25 minutes, I was carrying my shit back to the car across the field, and it was still wet because it was humid. I got gesso paint all over my hand, up my arm, dude. You should have seen me. I was carrying all that shit across the field, nobody helping me. I had my easel,
man,
the longboard I was painting, my travel easel, all my paint. It looked like, when you see people carrying way too many dishes at the restaurant, that's what I look like right then. That's exactly what I look like right then.
And that's not, I immediately heard Benny Hinn music.
Yes, exactly.
And you just running around.
Exactly.
Trying to get this, get in the car. Like, yep, that's,
All right. Everybody, Ruck and I are going to wrap this up. Just so you know, the Twisted Wrist Instagram got hacked, so you should go follow the TTW_artworks on the old Instagram if you want to keep up with my personal art endeavors outside of the podcast shenanigans. Ruck, you are what right now? Your social media handles?
Oh, I have Ruck that up on Instagram. I honestly, I have not posted on it in a minute. You still can get the full effect. I've got plenty of things posted on there, so and you can still reach me through there. But other than that, I don't really have an outlet right now. Been kind of introverting, trying to figure out my next steps. So if you don't come to the show, you might not be able to contact me. So come to the damn show.
Right. August 5th, 8-ish p.m., Next Level Brewing Company. They've been super duper cool working with my crazy ideas, so I cannot complain.
Don't they have a food truck?
They usually have a food truck. Yeah,
and
it's out back by the patio.
Man. Get down there.
I like the beer. They're letting me do crazy things in the bar room. As far as I'm concerned, they're super duper cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, TTW_artworks. I got a couple posts. I got a picture of my face. You'll see me. I'm there. Beardy, redheaded dude in a circular picture. It's great. This is the KAAMP podcast, breaking down the PsychShow with Derek Rucker. I don't know what order this particular recording is going to get fit into this particular episode, because I'm going to get with Chance and Jen, and I'm just going to put all these files together, probably in some mishmash fashion of just non sequitur conversations that include me.
Okay. Well, I'm definitely not against not being first, so.
Oh, is that it? Well, considering you and I have sitting here for almost 50 minutes and talk, I swear if this episode ends up like 2.5 hours, I'm so sorry, you guys. But I'm not going to cut it short for nothing until the conversation naturally ends, because you guys, this is Craftsroots. We're in it to win it, because I ain't cutting no shit out.
That's right. No.
This is the raw conversation. I got the E up top on the label. If you don't like it, then you ain't got to listen. But I'm trying to let y'all know what my friends are up to before we get to the show, so you got some idea of the craziness you'll see, but no idea what it looks like. So your conscience will just force you to come see.
Yep. Too tantalizing.
This is a primer for your eyeballs, your ear holes.
This is gesso, isn't it?
Yeah, this is gesso for your eyeballs for viewing the PsychShow. PsychShow gesso for your eyeballs.
I can't even say it. Yep. All right. I'll let you say it.
Shisha. PsychShow gesso. Yeah, just like that. So, folks, thank you. I really appreciate it. Derek really appreciates it.
Thank you very much.
Come look at our art. It'll be a good time. Lights, sounds, pretty things, pretty people, pretty beers, pretty places, and hopefully a good time. And I hope to see y'all there.
And the pretty you.
The what?
And a pretty you.
Oh, a pretty me?
Yeah.
Well, we'll see about that. I may dress up. I may not. I'm not going to do an intro for this because I did an intro on Derek's piece, and 4 or 5 intros in one episode I think is a bit silly. So I'm just going to hand you the microphone because we've only got one appropriately working microphone. So if you would introduce yourself and tell us some themes and some elements of the art you're going to be presenting on August 5th at the PsychShow, I would really appreciate it.
Hey, what's up? Name's Chance Loescher. I go by Professor Rainbow, the art name, the art moniker. Yeah, for the show, I just showed you the pieces I was thinking about hanging up, but yeah, they're all based. So I picked these 3 because they're all animal based in a way. Like they all have like an animal aspect to it. There's a owl piece, a tiger piece, and I just forgot the other one.
We both just forgot the
Yeah, it'll come to me in a second, but yeah, they're all symmetrical, vibrant, rainbow pattern. Like I said, the animals are all very distorted, so you know.
Owl.
I thought I said owl.
Did you
Yeah.
say it? Maybe you did.
I didn't look at my phone, but yeah, owl piece, tiger piece, and I don't do a lot of animals. I should remember it. Butterfly piece.
Hey,
Yeah, there we go. But yeah, the theme of these were all like symmetrical, taking like, recognizable animal energy, which I think we talked about last podcast I was on.
Yeah, a little bit.
And
real quick. Tell them that you've been on there before.
oh yeah, I've been on the podcast once before. I think last April, maybe last March, possibly a little over a year ago. But yeah, for the Psych Show, I wanted to do stuff that, felt in line with that, which most of my work does. But yeah, I don't know. You just have to see it. They're pretty cool. They're, like I said, symmetrical rainbow pieces with animal parts in it that might not be noticeable at first, but the longer you stare at it, the more it'll become noticeable. And with, if you've got the lights up on it, it'll be moving and morphing and doing all the things.
So, was there a particular reason you picked any of these pieces in particular, or are these just the ones you felt you should be showing in this assembly?
Kind of the latter. Like I said, I was going through a lot of my pieces, and because I got another show that same weekend, so unfortunately, I won't actually be at the Psych Show on the 5th, but because I'll be down at Caverns doing a festival. Yeah, Subterranea, Popdozio's little festival, first one at Caverns here in Tennessee. First festival in a cave, so, be pretty cool. But yeah, so I got some other stuff I'm showing there. Going to be live painting and, hanging up some pieces. So I tried to figure out what I was going to take both places. So like I said, I went with kind of things that all, I think, went together and all were made around the same time in the same sort of like style. So I thought it'd be good to show them together in a spot with everyone else.
I definitely think the pieces fit the theme, and as broad as a theme as we've got, but it's going to be really neat seeing everybody's work displayed next to everybody's work. I'm super excited about that, to be completely honest. I've also not seen a First Friday show that is coordinated in this way. Like, I've seen joint shows and stuff like that where people share a space and display, their 2 separate bodies of work or whatever, but I've never seen a First Friday show with 6 bodies of work on display at any given time under proper lighting conditions with a promoted theme and event style around it. So I'm stoked. I'm stoked to have you on board. It should be a good old time. I'm really sad you're not going to be there, but you're also doing something super duper cool at the Caverns, so I'm going to let it fly. Because honestly, if I wasn't if I wasn't doing a whole lot that weekend, you'd probably find me down at the caverns. So
I'd say we might have some spots. I thought about hitting you up, but I know you missed the show.
well, Saturday night is plumb open. So if Saturday night needs another canvas, I'll be there. But the whole ordeal with this and having you on board is I really enjoy your style. It's super colorful in the ways that mine aren't, because you don't use a whole lot of black in your pieces, and you use a lot of color for the contrast on itself. And I use a lot of black with color for contrast. So a lot of my pieces contrast your pieces that way. And I really enjoy seeing those two. Will enjoy seeing those two things displayed together. Should have black lights, should have color changing lights, should have all the fancy things we need to properly display these pieces. And I've got a good person in my pocket to help me do that, so it'll be all right. Big shout out to Next Level for helping us and being cooperative with all my crazy ideas. When I approached the bar manager in, God, what was it? March, April, February, sometime in the spring. And I was like, hey, dude, I want to do this crazy thing. And he's like, sure, let's go. So I was like, hell yeah. All right. Well, in a couple months, we'll have a different conversation about it. And now it's almost time and everybody's on board. Let's see, what am I getting at here? Most of the art in this room, for people that don't know, will be visible from the street, because Next Level Brewing Company has a really large facade on Broadway. Yeah, it's on Broadway, but it's at the intersection of Broadway and Central pretty much. And I always forget which road it's on. But yeah, you'll be able to walk through and see all the big pieces that are on display. And since this is an audio format, you all will have to just come put your eyeballs on all these pieces. And this has just been a short little teaser about the things that Chance is bringing to the table, or wall, or hanging, and all that jazz. And we, the 6 artists, including myself, are really, really excited to put this show on for you. So with that being said, Chance is really excited, if I can say that for him. And I'm excited to potentially put on a show for people in a First Friday event that has never been done in a way that I've seen since I've started going to First Friday events in the decade I've lived in Knoxville now. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I've never seen a First Friday like that. Like I said, I do a lot of festivals, so I'm used to kind of being in galleries that have 20 artists, and it's all not all on the same thing, 'cause everyone does their own thing, but it's all visionary, psychedelic, type stuff. But yeah, never in town here at like a brewery or gallery ever see like a bunch of people come together, do a month-long show with on a theme, but all very different styles. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. Like I said, we've talked about this. I haven't done a First Friday in Knoxville in many years, probably 6 years, because I kind of did them for a while, but like I said, even talking about this show, normally the summer is when I'm doing festivals and stuff, so it's hard for me to be like, oh yeah, let me do an art show here, because I also need to take all my art up here with me and do all this other thing, so it's hard to get it planned out. But luckily you hit me up long enough ago that we were able to kind of figure this out, so I could have enough pieces to do multiple events. Yeah, like I said, I won't be there the actual First Friday, but I plan on being there most other weekends, or random times that so other people can see it. And if anyone has any questions or comments, I'll leave my information so people can contact me and all that stuff. But yeah, hopefully it's a good time. Like I said, I hate to miss it, but so there'll be others. We'll do more things.
So about the more things, if I can help it and I find some cooperative venue, I want to do another one in November, which is kind of quick for a turnaround. But I feel like this is the tail end of the summer, and that's square in squaring, the fall or the winter. So it's on the calendar, it makes sense, but when you think about it, it feels kind of close. But
Well, fall's a better time for me too.
yeah, because you're
when I'm not doing festivals and I need to be finding other venues to show my art in. So
yeah, that's when you're done with all your hard traveling. So as far as that goes, watch out for an announcement for one in November with perhaps a different roster of artists, maybe a returning artist or two with different bodies of work. But that being said, the intention is to have another one in November or as early as I possibly can after the new year. I've also had some conversations with people that do other artsy things around town, and there's some things in the works that I won't exactly disclose yet, but I will tell you when we're done talking into this microphone. I will say that there is a voiced collective frustration about there being no intermediate areas to display art around town. You've got bars and First Friday events, and you've got galleries, and there's nowhere in between. And a lot of people like me and you could really take advantage of somewhere in between those two things. So that's what I'm trying to make happen right now. Trying to figure out a way and a venue and a proper discourse to figure out how to make that happen.
Well, that's what I was talking about. I haven't done First Fridays in a long time in Knoxville because, like the spaces, which, I've shown it mostly, different breweries like Trailhead and Crafty and Central Flats and stuff, and they're great, and I've loved doing it. But, a proper venue with proper lighting and, I'm deep in the live art festival scene, so I'm used to showing my art with music and other things going on and other performers and, the proper lighting for everything. So that's kind of why I stopped doing or trying to get out and do as many First Fridays and stuff in town because, couldn't really find a spot that I felt truly highlighted the art and the way it was intended to be seen. So, I'm glad there's more voices now and people trying to get it done because it's, something I ran into a long time ago when I didn't think there was many other people in town doing the same thing, but now I know there are quite a few people, so it's good to know.
You and at least 5 other people.
Exactly. I know a couple of them.
So I think I've leaked all the information here that I feel is pretty appropriate and haven't already said in another segment. So the plan is, everybody, to put all this together in one cohesive podcast and release it before the show, which you will hear this before August 5th. But Chance, do you have anything else to say about your stuff?
I might, like we've been talking about, I might have one big new piece, which also is animal themed, so that actually fits in the thing, the fish piece you've seen me working on lately. But I kind of lost the studio space I had at my house recently. It's been converted into another office space. So it might get done, it might not. I hope it does, because it's a cool piece. I also don't want to rush it or show an incomplete piece. So, but if you like rainbows, if you like geometry, symmetry, animals, come check it out.
Tell everybody your social media handles one good time.
Yeah, you can find me Instagram at Professor Rainbow with a period between it. My website is www.professorrainbow.com. I have a YouTube channel, but I don't have anything on it yet, but that is still a goal of mine in the next years to get some stuff up on there. Twitch channel. Just Chance Loescher on Facebook right now. I don't have a artist page anymore because I had one I hadn't posted on in 6 years. So I was like, well, I'll take this down for now. I'd much rather use Instagram for social stuff. Website is a better place to see my work and know everything. But Professor Rainbow across all medias.
There you go. You've got your search engine optimization on lock.
I don't.
As he disagrees.
Someone to do all that for me, or just figure it out myself. But I don't know. Professor Rainbow, you Google it, it's me. It comes up.
All right, that works. Chance, thank you very much for your damn near 15 minutes of time talking about the art to tease people to get them come out. Like I said, August 5th, Next Level Brewing Company, 8-ish p.m. It's like, it doesn't have to be 8 o'clock. You can show up at 6:45 or 8:12. I don't really care. I just said 8 o'clock on the promo materials so people know to have some idea, not just like random follow in, whenever that day. But y'all come out. I'm trying to pique your interest. Come do the thing, see all the stuff the way it's supposed to be seen. And when I sit down with Jen Lizzie later today, she'll tell you all about her stuff, and it'll be great. Y'all have a good time until I see you next. All right, so I'm here with Jen Lizzie, another featured artist in the PsychShow, August 5th at Next Level Brewing Company. Hi, Jen.
Hello.
How are you today?
I am fine, sir. Thank you. How are you?
I am quite well. Happy to be out of my car and in a facility with air conditioning. So, we are here to talk about artsy shenanigans and what you're going to be putting in the Psych Show. Mm-hmm. So what do you got for us?
Well, for the show, you mean?
Yeah.
I mean, dang. Yeah, I got 5 pieces. They're all 18 by 24, so they're larger than I usually work. I'm kind of moving up in size. I'm excited about that. I have 2 acrylic pieces. All of them are portraits of people. I think they're all women. Yeah, they're all women. I'm really excited about these acrylic pieces because it's just something completely new for me to work with. Acrylic is, that is. And I think they turned out okay, but I'm still working on that. And the other ones are watercolor and colored pencil. And they were ones I had been working on kind of a while back. I just switched to acrylic recently. So that's about what I've got right now, unless we're going to add any more to that later.
Yeah, you want to talk about the content of these 5 pieces?
The content?
Yeah,
Sure.
we can totally talk about the content.
The content?
You did say there were portraits of women, but how do these pieces differ from one another?
Well, I'm trying to think of what they'll look like. I should have had my paper over there with them all on it. Let's see. One thing I can say about these is when I was making them, I tried to really express emotion through the characters or the subjects I was painting or drawing. And I have one that's crying. I have one that's kind of a self-portrait, but not really. I needed the figure to draw from, but the face is not mine, so it's kind of like a figure drawing. And then the other ones, I have one that looks scared. And a lot of what I do is just expressing emotion that I feel a lot, which is a lot of negative emotion. But I like to express that in a positive way, hopefully, not be too...
Colorful's a really good start.
Yeah, well, color expresses emotion, I've read that. I read that on the internet, so it must be true.
It has to be true. Absolutely has to be true.
It was on the interweb, yeah. So, no, really, I've read that, but I don't know how that works, but I just really like to express how I feel because I'm so bad, I feel, when I try and talk, I'm not very eloquent. I can write good, I can draw good, I can paint good. I express myself that way.
But you can't talk good, is what you're saying.
I don't feel I express myself well that way, no. That's what I mean.
Yeah, okay. So, are all of these pieces straight up acrylic since you've made that sort of shift?
No, there are 3 watercolors, and then those are also colored pencil with the watercolor layers. And then there are 2 acrylics, and I'm sorry I didn't get them out before so you could see them, but
it's all right.
Okay.
I mean,
but yeah, the acrylics are just. I'm so excited about the acrylics. Let me say, when I was working with watercolor, I was using a lot less water than I should probably use. So I feel like that kind of prepared me for acrylics.
So you were dealing with really dense, viscous watercolor pigments.
Exactly, and I was spending a lot of money on watercolor because I would not use the water with it, And that's a waste, kind of. It's like, it's watercolor, so you add water. But the acrylic is just it's so much different. It's great. I love it.
I usually end up watering down my acrylics.
I've done that too. I figured you could do that, but yeah.
You can do that. It really depends on what I'm trying to do.
Right.
But it's something I've found myself doing a lot if I'm trying to get more watercolor-esque gradients and fills and things of the like. I've also diluted it with alcohol, which evaporates really, really quickly.
I did that on one that's not in the show. It made a really funky effect. I really liked it.
So what pushed you to switch to acrylics? I know it wasn't my fault for ragging on you about the old colored pencils.
No. What pushed me? I guess I was enjoying the watercolor without water, so I figured. And also another thing, Arthur Hatton, another artist you've had on the podcast before. I was talking to him, and he said the work you do, Jen, is a lot like acrylic, even though it's watercolor. So I had that in my mind, and I was like, well, why don't I just try acrylic? So.
Oh, your episode is really high up on his list, by the way.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he really enjoyed listening to your episode.
Oh, I enjoyed his.
So I'm going to put him on the spot and say he really enjoyed
Put Arthur
that.
on the spot?
Yeah, Arthur's on the spot. So yeah, and these, why bigger?
I'm just trying to I've been working like 9 by 12 on paper, and I'd done that since 2018, so I needed a change. I wanted a change. I can't go enormous because I don't have the space in my living space, but this was a good size to expand to, so I just thought I'd try it, and that's why.
And it feels fruitful so far? You enjoy it?
Yeah, it's different than working smaller. I have to get back from the piece I'm working on more to see the perspective of it. And I think that's really good in teaching me how to actually see the whole thing instead of looking at it up close, just one bit at a time.
I don't know if I shoot myself in the foot or not, but when I'm working on pieces that are like 18 by 24, 24 by 36, I totally forget that I have a drafting desk and end up working on them in my lap.
I do too. I work on those on my lap, yeah. But I have to make myself, get up and move back. I even take pictures. I put them on the computer screen, stand back, get perspective. Helps.
Yeah, I always forget to do that because they're in my lap.
I'm not used to that either.
I'll hold them and just go like,
I know.
Stick them out in front of me at arm's length and be like, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, I know. I've been there too.
But setting it across the room or on a desk, away is very helpful. I need to remind myself to do that.
And to get away from it for a while and come back to it and just look at something else instead of staring at the piece I'm working on for so long. That really helps too.
That's really difficult for me to do because
you get really into it, or
well,
what?
that and the flow state of the shenanigans I'm into are, I like to go from one end to the other, start to finish.
Yeah.
Hey, go shut the fridge door. You didn't shut it. Go that way. So yeah, the flow of things I really like to do as much as I can in whatever period of time I find myself in the flow state. So it's and sometimes I just get done with that flow state and the piece may or may not be done. Sometimes it is. Most of the time it is because I don't really feel like I have the energy to come back to it and do a second pass, so to speak.
Right.
But that being said, there are also pieces that I've put 4 or 5 passes on because I've had the energy and the desire outside of the flow state moment to go work on it. So it most of the time I don't touch things a second time, but it's not unusual that I do.
Right. I'm very glad to hear you say pass because I just learned that term. When I'm painting in the past, I'm like, I never heard that. But I recently took a class from, how do you pronounce her name? Teresa Oaxaca. She's a wonderful artist, and I took a class from her. It was so helpful. I learned a lot about painting with acrylic, even though she taught in oils. And she mentioned pass. I was like, oh, so that's what it's called. Yeah. There's so much I don't know.
There are always new terms and techniques and things to be learned.
All the time, yeah.
All the time. I don't. Have you shown me these pieces in contact?
I haven't. Well, not in person.
Right. I've not seen any of these in person, but we've communicated the last couple months.
Yeah, you saw some of the older ones that I did share publicly, so those are not in the show. But these I have not shown you.
Okay, so we'll have to give them a once over once we're done recording.
Okay. Yeah, definitely.
So, have you enjoyed making art specifically for this show?
I really have. It's been good. I always enjoy portraiture. I guess I was trying to do more figurative work for this, but it ended up more facial. And that's just typical with me.
That is your wheelhouse, as far as I can tell.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is.
It is the wheelhouse, but it's a comfortable wheelhouse, and that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, but I do want to step outside that too.
So what does stepping outside of that look like?
Figurative. I want to go more figurative. I really need practice with figures, and like we were talking about in our last talk, the shoulder area is the worst for me. It's the worst. But I think if I can just get some practice in, I'll get better at that, and then I can move to larger pieces and translate that to a larger canvas or substrate or whatever I'm working on. I think that'll be something I can work with.
Well, if I could talk, specifically figurative images, 18 by 24 in that scale is really comfortable for me to work in. So if I'm drawing poses or whole bodies, then that's definitely a good spot for how I like to operate and how I like to draw. That's like the primo size for how I like to draw those style pieces.
Why do you feel that way? Is it because you have more space to kind of see what you're doing, or what?
That and how I like it. It just feels like a natural scale for me to work at with that subject matter.
Okay.
Like if I'm drawing a person, which I often do, in just my practice and challenging of myself, I don't feel as if I'm cramped in my work area to fit whatever that is in it. And then I don't have to, on a small scale, exaggerate my movements so much. I feel like the sweep of my movements when I'm drawing longer elements of the picture is more comfortable because I don't have to worry about it being so small or huge.
That makes sense, though, yeah.
So if there's a 24 by 36 or an 18 by 24, like the size of person I am physically likes working on a canvas that size.
Okay.
So that
enjoying
works out for me.
moving up in size, though. It's working for me, so I might.
Has anything been kicking you in the teeth about it?
Kicking me in the teeth?
Yeah. Has there been any difficulties moving up in size?
Well, like we were talking about, just getting back from it, seeing the whole perspective. Maybe I'm lazy or just tired. I don't like to get up that much, but I think it is important in seeing the whole thing. So that's something I'm working on. It's my folks; they just drove by. So anyway, the proportions, the proportions I can't quite get right at that size. Like that one that's visible right there. I tried to distort that, so it was really kind of off, but not all the way off.
It looks like there's a lot of.
I know it's upside down.
Well, I mean, what is the opposite of foreshortening? Because it looks like her hands and knees and the front of her legs are really, really long, but
opposite of foreshortening.
Yeah, there's not a forelongening. I know that much. Whatever that technical term is, art people out there in the world, tweet me.
Yeah, I don't even know.
But the figure. Let me get back to what I'm actually trying to say. The figure is exaggerated in a way where it looks like some forced perspective is at play.
Yes.
And it's not consistent. Like her head is really large, and the things in the foreground, like her hands and her knees, are really large.
Yes, the things in the foreground I wanted to exaggerate larger, and the things going back I wanted to make appearing smaller.
It's almost as if she's leaning forward or over her hands and knees.
That was kind of the pose I was going for, yes. And that one was the one I was working from, the picture of myself.
Yeah.
So it was I could kind of work from what I was seeing, but I was trying to imagine the perspective if I did enlarge the forward parts and, distort some. So that all happens in my imagination. That was difficult.
So let's give another piece a little breakdown. So I really just want to tease all the listeners about some of these pieces. That's really the thing. I want to tease the shit out of everybody.
Those are wrapped up, and the canvas ones are wrapped up. You just do whatever. Yeah, you can unwrap them. It's fine.
All right. Well, let's see what happens here as I walk across the room and trifle through these
All right.
That's awesome, by the way. Good way to display that.
Okay, so that's actually me.
So the floral, is this collage or is
Yes, sir. That
Okay.
is collage. I don't draw that well.
I was about to
wish
say these
did.
flowers rock.
I wish I drew that well, but I don't. I collage those on. That's my figurative.
So I really enjoy the one strappy sock, by the way.
Oh, me too.
All right, well,
I love strappy socks. You can just take it apart.
all right. Well, I'm gonna set my microphone down, and if you want to say some things as I open these, that would be
Okay,
cool.
what am I? I'll say some things.
Yeah, just some things, whatever.
That puts a lot of pressure on me. We talked about before how I'm not good at saying things. I'm not that eloquent, but anyway, here's Thomas unwrapping my canvases that I have taped up, and he's doing a wonderful job. These two are also, the reason why I brought these in is because I just varnished them recently. I'm not sure if the heat would have affected that. Do you know I don't know if heat would affect varnish, if it would melt at all, but I wanted to make sure it didn't, so I didn't leave them in the
It
trunk.
would cure faster.
Would it really? Because
Yeah.
I heard heat wouldn't do that.
Well, it depends on the base of the varnish, but
Okay.
generally warmer environments that are drier cure things faster.
Okay. I was told heat does not cure well. It just speeds up the top layer and the bottom layer stays kind of moist, so that's not a good.
That depends on how you put the varnish on there.
I see. Okay.
Like you can go with a lot of thin coats and then have that or one thick coat and have that problem, or you can do a lot of thin coats and not have that problem.
Okay. Okay, good to know. Learning every day. But yeah, just rip that paper off. You're fine. I'm sorry. I wrapped them up really good.
I also put the microphone right here so we get some good ASMR beat.
Yeah, ASMR. Go to sleep.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hey, crinkling wax paper.
Yeah, I don't know. I really enjoyed these. The canvas ones were the most fun. I guess because I'm so tired of watercolor.
And paper.
Yes. And the canvas is easier to work on because, the paper, when you try and stand it up on the easel, it will just fold forward.
Yeah, it will.
The canvas won't.
Ain't that enough to piss you off?
It does. I didn't know I was the only one. Yeah. That does, yeah. Gets on my nerves. And there's the scared one. That one looks kind of scared to me. Maybe trying to get into somewhere. I don't know, kind of like suspense. I don't know.
At the very least, it looks apprehensive.
Okay, there you go. Anything you see in it is good with me. I'm always open to people seeing whatever they see and interpreting however they interpret it, because everyone is their own person, so. That'll work. It's like Christmas.
I was about to say, this is what Christmas sounds like, everybody. If you live somewhere in the world and you've never experienced a Christmas, I promise it sounds a lot like this.
It does, it does. Thomas, you can just rip that. I can put it back. It's cool.
I mean, there's no reason for me to be ultimately destructive.
That's true, but there's no reason for you to be too careful. So.
All right, well, next time I'll just rip it to shreds.
It's fine. I got more paper. I got more tape.
Oh, come on.
Thomas, just take the paper off. You're doing good. There you go. Okay, so that's the crying one, and the other one is the scared one.
Okay.
The acrylics. Okay, so what do you think? Anything to say?
So now I'm
Now
back
you
to
talk.
my normal seat. So I talk now, my turn.
Thomas's
I
turn.
really enjoy the contrast, so the one with the do you have a name for any of these?
They're
by
all
chance?
untitled.
Okay,
actually.
okay. So the one on our right with the floral mouth accoutrements,
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy that you keep a lot of the warm color above the mouth,
Mm-hmm.
and it goes gray and blue below the mouth.
Thank you. Yes.
Is there a reason for that?
To just make some visual interest, kind of make the focal point more the top where the color is, and then the flowers, and then there's this just kind of gray area.
So you're really, really trying to accentuate the eyes and the expressiveness of the eyes.
I think so, yeah. I just didn't want the whole thing to be too busy, really, so I kind of just muted the bottom of it. If that makes sense.
And the flowers are a good line to draw to make that contrast.
Yeah.
Because that's the bottom third of the image.
Yeah,
Elliot, I need you to move.
he's fine.
There's a 7-year-old in the way. The middle one, the scared one, right?
Yeah, the frightened one or whatever you want. The apprehensive?
Apprehensive, yes. I really enjoy. So you have consistent flesh tones across all of these pieces, which seems a little bit out of your wheelhouse because a lot of your work, I feel like the color of each piece really varies. So
Yeah.
so the consistency here is really cool.
Are you talking about just the acrylics or all of them?
No, when I say in general, I mean your whole practice of work.
Yeah, I
But-
vary the color a lot. But are you
these are more, they have more in common on their color palette
That's
for skin
interesting.
tones.
saying yes?
But I really enjoy the more balanced color palette with all the blue and the purple and the gray
Okay.
in the background between the hand and the face.
Yeah, and I was going to say, in the acrylics, I don't have that many colors yet, and I'm still working on mixing the
Yeah.
different colors, how to get different effects with that. So that's why those might look the same or less vibrant. I don't know.
Well, vibrant, they're all vibrant. I don't think
Good.
the color selection works against you.
Okay,
If
good.
anything, you've used it well enough to provide lots of contrast,
Good, that's good. Thank you.
in my opinion.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you, Thomas.
So why is the third person crying?
Well, she wasn't originally, and I was doing that from a photograph I got off unsplash.com, so it's, you can use it for anything. Why is she crying? It's
I
just-
don't know is a perfectly acceptable answer.
You what?
I don't know is a perfectly acceptable answer.
But I do know. I don't know how to say. It's like I feel that so much. I go through a lot of internal conflict, so that gets expressed. And I think also the art of just depicting tears is something that I don't feel comfortable in, like, that I'm good at it. Because it's really harder to get the reflections and stuff.
I was about to say
Right.
water and reflections are a pain in everybody's ass.
That's not easy. So I was practicing with that, and at the time, I'm not sure what I was going through, and I won't go into detail, but it was probably something I was feeling at the time, and I just wanted to express it.
Okay.
Some stress, because it's stressful all over the world right now.
Very much so. One of the pieces I'm putting in the show highlights that exact thing. And you've seen it.
I've seen it. Yeah, it's good.
So I'm sorry, everybody, that y'all have been excluded from all of us artists in this conversation sharing our art with one another. But I swear, if you show up to the show, you'll get to see all of it all at once. Jen and I talk probably once a week about the shenanigans we got going on in prep for this show. So I really enjoy all the implied texture of hair. I enjoy
thank
texture
you.
of hair just in general as something to look at in paintings and drawings and all that jazz.
I didn't want to overemphasize the hair because I want the emphasis on the face.
Right, and I think you nailed that ratio.
Oh, thank you.
Because the hair is obviously there and there's shape to it and it flows in a natural way, but it
good.
does not distract from the look on the face or the face at all.
That's really, thank you. I'm not good at hair. I don't feel.
Well, I think you've put enough shadows around the jaw and the bottom half of the face to really separate
yeah,
the color. The dark space
yeah, the
really
contrast.
helps that out.
Okay, good. Thank you.
This person has like a really somber, almost shocked look on their face, like
Which
they just
one?
the one far left.
The crying one.
They look like they just got some really bad news or saw a ghost or
I probably did when
or-
I was painting it.
or something
Who
along
knows?
that.
I don't remember.
But it's the least distorted face out of the three, I think, which I feel like is also a little outside your comfort zone, drawing more realistic.
Yeah.
And I think you did a really good job.
Well, thank you.
And I think the second one out of the three is my favorite, just because of the distortion itself.
The apprehensive
It's
one?
very. It's almost like a fisheye lens distortion. Almost.
That's what I was going for, so I'm pleased.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The right eye is very like I know what you did.
I definitely kind of did that larger, and the hand was really difficult. Not good at hands. But
The people that are good at hands are like half psychopaths. So I'm pretty okay with every hand I draw because I know that I'm not crazy, or at least as crazy as some that are really, really good at drawing hands. And
You're okay with me.
if people are really good at drawing hands or offended that I said that, you can use those hands and tell me that you're upset. Well, I mean, I want to know.
No, it's cool. Yeah.
Because if you got tips and trips on fingers and palms, I'd love to hear them.
Oh, me too, actually.
But in general, I feel like these pieces of work are a bit more on the realism or...
I see your point, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially on that one, on the crying one, yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely
I didn't
not
really
as
distort.
distorted as I've seen a lot of your work be. But I
Yeah.
don't feel like this still looks like your work. There's no way
hope so.
I wouldn't
Thank
think it's yours.
Thank you.
Let's all right. Now that we've had that conversation about those three, let's look at the other ones.
Okay, the other
one.
The other one. There are two back there.
Yeah.
Oh, we looked at the other one already.
Yeah.
So there's just one. Yeah. No, that one was more of a figurative distortion thing.
So, what's the thought process on this one?
I don't know.
Don't know. Was this just I'm going to draw parts of a person like this and see what happens, or?
The face and the hand that are in color, I drew that first. I remember that. Now the legs and the other arms, I kind of wanted to fit in, but I didn't know how. So this was all in pencil to begin with, and I just kind of went from there, kind of just seeing where things fit and where things look not like they make sense, but like they fit. If that makes sense.
Because nobody's hand and thigh is right under their chin.
Not that I know of.
I mean, maybe somebody out there.
I don't know.
And then I see you have some really, really faint text on the right side of this image.
I do. I forgot what I wrote. Who knows? I do a lot of journaling on my art, prayers. I do just writing my thoughts and whatever. So who knows what that says, if it's even visible. I can't see it.
It's gray. It's like a really light gray on all this blue, so there's not a lot of contrast there to see.
It might have been that I didn't want it seen that
Well,
visibly.
you screwed that up because I can read some of it.
No, it's okay. You can read what you want.
I can read
It's
some
fine.
of it.
It's good.
I can identify words
That's fine.
in there, but we'll see what people notice when it's in front of people.
Whatever people notice is great.
You have another collage flower in there, right?
Yes, I did not draw that. That's glued on.
You know, like my whole life, I've drawn like 4 flowers, and 2 of them suck.
Really?
Yes.
I have a really hard time drawing flowers.
So the rose piece that I'm putting in this show, that's flower number 4, as best I can remember.
Well, that was good. You did good.
I put a grid on that particular painting and
That's okay.
looked at a photo reference.
If it works.
But the first one I did was actually the better one, and I did a still life drawing of like a dead flower in a vase on my parents' windowsill, and I did that in like 2007 or something like that. So when I was still living in Hancock County. But yeah, those 2 flowers, those are the ones. Everything in between sucked.
I understand. Actually, I have trouble with that too.
They're very dynamic and they're very difficult.
Well, it's all good. I mean, did you enjoy the process?
Drawing always.
There you go. That's the main
Drawing
thing.
always.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
But is there anything else you want to say about these things? Because I'm pretty sure we've covered the bases.
Not that I know of. I mean, I'm happy if anyone even enjoys them, and I'm happy you came to talk to me about them.
Well,
I don't have anything else. No.
Well, Jen, I'm happy you chose to participate in the PsychShow on August 5th at or around 8 p.m. And that's at Next Level Brewing Company. People are going to hear this like 6 times throughout this whole podcast after I put all these different snips together.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm not sorry for the repetition. Y'all need to know when and where. But
Be there, be square.
Yes.
You need to come to this show. It's going to be good.
Right.
No, the other artwork that I've seen is really good. You picked some wonderful artists, and I think it's going to be a really good show.
I'm very pleased with the combination of people that I've
me too.
been able
really
to bring
works.
together.
It works. The styles work together. Everything goes great.
Might be luck of the draw on that one, but I'm not going to say. Might be luck of the draw on that one, but I'm not going to say one way or the other.
Well, who knows?
Right. The universe said it'll be all right. But everybody, you can enjoy Jen Lizzie's artwork at what's your social media handles? Go ahead and plug those.
My Instagram is Jen Lizzie Artist, and
You got that Facebook page too, right?
I have a Facebook page. I just renamed it. I redid it, so maybe you can post that one. I think it's Art of Jen Lizzie.
Yeah.
At Art of Jen Lizzie.
And your Etsy shop.
Etsy is Art by Jen Lizzie. I don't know. They're all.
All right,
confusing.
everybody, keep it straight. It's on you.
Yeah, I don't have anything consistent through that. I'm sorry.
Neither do I. Don't feel bad. My Etsy is like a graveyard sometimes. So it is what it is. But thank you for taking the time to have a short chat with me about the art we're putting in the show.
Thank
Y'all,
you, Thomas.
don't be squares and come see this glorious stuff when it's on display. And it'll be on display the 5th and through the rest of the month at Next Level Brewing Company. So if you can't come the 5th, come the 6th or the 9th or the 12th or the 13th and do the damn thing. So I very much appreciate y'all listening and taking time to listen to these short breakdowns from each of these artists. But get your asses down to the bar and come see the work. So thank y'all for listening. I may or may not see you on the 5th, but hopefully sometime y'all go see the work, whether I'm there or not.
It would be great. Smell you later.
Yeah, exactly. What she said.
Thank you.
Hello, my name's Ethan, and I'm a good friend of Thomas's, and maybe, in some small way, I'm an artist, despite what I think about myself. And despite showing up every day and trying quite hard in my high school art class, still only ended up with a B-. But, a few years ago, I happened across a nice sketch pen, started doodling just a tad in a old blank notebook, enjoyed it, and kept going from there. Started fairly simple, building up as I went along, and after a while, I decided, there's hell with it. I don't give a damn if I'm good at this or not. I enjoy it. For me, sitting down and drawing, painting, making some form of art or another is a really good way to pass the time. It's a hell of a lot better than getting on the internet and scrolling around, accomplishing absolutely nothing. So even if I'm hiding in my garage, drawing something silly and maybe not accomplishing all that much, like I said earlier, it sure is enjoyable, and at least this way I'm making something.
Last and certainly not least, Steffi J sent me an artist statement since we could not find a convenient time and place to record according to our schedules. I will read you her artist statement right now. Creating a piece that provokes contemplation, be it from its color, details, or imagery itself, is my goal. Using ink or digital mediums allow me to better express what I'm trying to portray to the audience. Ultimately, creating something abnormal is how I release my inner thoughts and feelings. I hope these pieces cause you to tap into your imagination and form your own interpretations of my thoughts. Like I said, that was Steffi J's artist statement for the pieces she's put into the PsychShow August 5th at Next Level Brewing Company. I'm really excited to show y'all her work. I wish we could have recorded, but this is the best we could do with time permitting. Anyway, y'all, I hope to see y'all there. It's going to be a great show. Got a good lineup of artists for you. I hope this little audio teaser has piqued your interest to some degree. And if you were on the fence, I hope this pushed you to deciding to go. Thank you. This has been a rather unorthodox episode of the KWMP. I may or may not see you at the art show, but I hope I do. Thank you for listening.